Welcome back to Esoteric GOM. I'm Jod. It is a spirit. It's April 19th, Friday. I hope you're having a good start to your weekend. I hope you had a good week. I just wanted to hop on and kind of give an update. So, I did a short video a while back about how I was going through Success Magic by Galleries Magic Damon brand. It's a year-long ritual basically. So you have 49 rituals, and each one is supposed to be done for 7 days. So I am on the end of week 12. So I've done 12 rituals so far, and I kind of just wanted to share some of my thoughts, some of my experiences. Obviously, I spend about 5 to 7 minutes on each ritual a night. So I typically do it, right before I go to bed, after I take a shower, after everything else is done, basically. So, um, it's something that I look forward to every day. I make sure I have enough energy, I'm rested, and at night I feel like I kind of have the best results for me personally. Other people might do it in the morning, but I'm on the end of week 12. So far we have done vision, clarity, pathway, confidence, desire, development, becoming, undertaking, boundary, imagination, collective, and tolerance is the one I'm at. So each ritual basically gives you a principle or an idea that you kind of read and meditate on, and it creates a certain feeling, internal state that which you kind of summon or manifest inside yourself. And then when you do the actual ritual, you kind of offer it to the world. So, for example, um, the imagination one, you're basically reading about how imagination would benefit you. What would you do if you really had an imagination that helped you get what you want, that was kind of divinely inspired. So you think about that, meditate on it, and then you kind of offer it to the world. So that's the basic ritual structure, with the goal of basically just becoming a more successful person, in all areas. And I've noticed some things, and the first 12 weeks that are typically, I kind of categorize them in two different ways. So the first is external things that happen in my external world, situations, new people, new information, and the other is kind of internal things that are happen within my own mind, my own being. And at first it definitely kind of felt like I was stirring stuff up, really to be the person you want to be, that you're always growing into kind of a more refined version of yourself. Stuff kind of has to be decluttered, it has to be moved out, rearranged, transmuted. And it's kind of like cleaning a room, where once you start cleaning it, it can kind of feel like it's dirtier at first and it's worse off. You're putting stuff in piles, you're kind of making a mess, and it's really only towards the end of it that you can kind of see, oh wait, this is much better, this space feels much better, everything is more organized. So obviously there's some rituals that I kind of connect with better than others. There's some, and it kind of takes me a while to create the feeling state or ponder the idea and get what they're really saying, and some it's just right off the bat, you really connect with it. It's a strength of yours, perhaps, or something that you really want to work on, so you have a really clear relationship to it. But yeah, stuff in my external world, new authors, which really my favorite thing to do is to learn. I'm a huge, if I had all the free time in the world, I'd spend a good chunk of it learning, listening to YouTube videos, reading books. So I found some really really awesome authors recently, and I've done some recent book reviews as well. Found some really good sources of information, talks and stuff like that, which really helps stimulate my mind. I'm a big thinker, so I can tell, like, oh, this source maybe, um, you know, helps me grow in a certain way, or it presents a certain idea, or helps me get over a stumbling block, or through a particular situation that I'm trying to deal with. Also, stuff in the external world, like for example, I have a full time job, and um, if you can hear my dog Spirit, I apologize. Thank you to a subscriber who recommended that I invest in a good mic. I started with this little thing, so this is our first time giving it a go. But I will definitely improve once I check this video and see if it makes it any better. So thank you for the suggestions. I definitely want to keep making better videos. This is kind of, for me, the initial goal was really just to put stuff up pretty regularly, once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. And then there's a lot of skills that I want to learn as far as just this. Editing is not really my strong suit. Thumbnails, titles, obviously sound. I do this off my iPhone, so all that stuff I'm excited to learn. Um, and thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, so certain things that when I started doing this success magic that I really wanted. There's certain things, there are ideas that I have more control over my time, more freedom. Obviously, more financial abundance, which is kind of a very useful tool to have in this world. And oh, I was talking about things that happen externally first. Okay, so yeah, we were talking about. I'll go back and edit that. I probably will. We were talking about things that happen in the external world. So I have a full-time job, and we had one of our platforms that we had used consistently for the past 2 years, and they changed some of their terms and conditions. They changed some of their policies, and it had been a good 6 to 7 months that we had not been able to use them. We had to kind of restructure some of our content. They had a bunch of new rules and stuff that we had to abide by. And literally on 4/8, the day of the eclipse, they emailed me, "Hey, you're good to go." So huge stuff like that. Got invited to go indoor skydiving. Like I said, the authors, the lectures, my work gave me a good sum of money to use for a vacation. Stuff like that. There's stuff that's been offered to me as far as opportunities to learn, new people I've met, stuff in the external world. So you can definitely feel it working that way. And I believe it was Damon who was like, the planetary energies are more external and elemental energies are more internal. I'm sure a couple other people have kind of used that paradigm, so I've adopted it somewhat, and as far as it's useful. But yeah, so you'll see stuff happening. I've seen stuff, gifts, opportunities to learn, opportunities to meet new people, situations like I'm working towards my blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and that's getting closer. I do kickboxing as well. Saw some really good improvements. That has some really good performance reviews, has some really good career growth, stuff like that. So, and then internally, at first it kind of kicked up a lot of stuff that was more unconscious that I needed to be aware of, thought patterns, belief systems, stuff like that. And, certain kind of negative, repetitive thoughts, automatic negative thoughts. The spirit doesn't like those. I all of a sudden became aware of, through the process of doing these rituals and interacting with these angels. I became aware of stuff that was kind of buried so deep that I wasn't really consciously aware of. And so now it pops into my mind and I can correct it. I have these negative thoughts and I can immediately give it some space, kind of accept it for what it is, and then go to work changing it, replacing it with its opposite, or a much truer thought, a much better thought, more healthy thought, stuff like that. Also, one of the things that I really want, I'm sure most of us want, is more, be able to do what we want, when we want, with who we want. More control over our time, or our money. Those two concepts are really connected. So I was given opportunities to take time off. To basically, I had some paid time off I wasn't aware that I had. I used it, and one of the things I noticed is, like, for me, when I have time, it's like free time is like my ultimate thing. Like, being able to do whatever I want or nothing, however you use that time, is so valuable to me. But what also happens is, when I have that time, now all of a sudden I have to make all these decisions about what to do with it. And that started to stress me out a little bit, because you realize, oh, wait, I have this huge to-do list. Now I've been given this time, but it's like, now you have all these options and you have to prioritize what you really want to do. So that was something I had to work through for a couple days, is really, okay, these are things that I want, and I also want to use them well when they're given to me. Like, I have little opportunities to taste kind of the life that I dream of. So, really, it came down to using my time effectively to where I would allocate a certain amount of time for my to-do list. And then when I encountered obstacles or stuff that I couldn't really handle, instead of getting worried and stressed out about it, I would have to kind of figure, take action to find a solution and then just let it be, until I was able to resolve it, and have some peace about it and just kind of trust that God, the universe, whatever, was going to take care of it. Um, and there was stuff that I was able to do. And if it was something that I really didn't feel like I was able to do, then I had to trust and allow whatever it is just to be. So, yeah. And with this book, too, it's a year-long ritual. There are definitely days where even if it's 5 to 7 minutes of ritual, I am like just tired, like the daily grind kind of gets to you, and you really want to make sure with these rituals you're giving it the full attention. You're not just kind of going through the motions doing it, and it's a repetitive thing. So that was brought to my attention as well, that I should really make sure each time I do this as if it's the first time, as if I'm giving it all my attention and all my focus to it. So it also made me realize that I tended to kind of overload my rituals, and I was, for a great part of my magical career, would do more instead of less. And so it made me really kind of take into consideration not splitting my energy and my attention up among so many different rituals, and kind of condensing them and focusing on the few that were really having an impact. So yeah, just some thoughts of what I've experienced. I definitely anticipate this, I anticipate not seeing all the effects within the first year, the first couple of years. I anticipate that I'll be seeing changes from this, for my whole life. That's the goal. The goal is to consistently refine what you want, become a better person, and really, I guess, like I used to have really out there goals. Like I would have goals that were like, I want to be a superhero. I want to, just stuff that's like, and I'm not giving those goals up. I am also really, what I've learned is to focus a little bit of time on those out there. Like, hey, I like to be able to walk through walls one day, with more pragmatic stuff, more stuff that is really that I can affect the here and now, like little stuff, so focus on just the smaller stuff that's easier, that kind of builds momentum, and then throw something out there for one of those, like, hey, I like this insanely almost impossible thing that I'd like to happen, kind of to focus on all aspects of it. So food for thought. um, yeah, and I know I did that 6.5, 7 month ritual, the wealth magic. So I definitely think there's some overlap, and it's sometimes hard to tell what's coming from where when you do so much. So one of my goals is to kind of pare down, like I said, so I can kind of give better feedback and better information as far as what is working, how it's working, and why it's working. So anything that I missed, yeah, just really, I'm going to continue to kind of make and pay attention to the internal changes that are happening as well as the external ones. Um, and I'll try to do my best to kind of keep giving as honest as information as I can. And thank you for the feedback, as far as comments, tips, stuff like that. I really appreciate it. This is kind of a passion project for me. So um, I'm learning through this as well. I'm gonna keep learning, and hopefully I'll definitely keep putting better content out. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking my videos. Thank you for your attention. Attention is kind of the most valuable commodity in this economy. Does that make sense? Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I will be back soon with something cool. Bye.